Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys checking out today's episode. And guys, today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite lures to fish in the month of February and March for big fish, and that's what I call the Thumper spinnerbait here. I'm going to show you guys how to set this thing up. This is a big fish lure under the right conditions. So we're going to go over how to set it up, exactly what it does, and the type of situations that it works the best in today's video here. Also, guys, a real quick reminder, this Thursday, 6:30 Central Standard Time, we got the first live stream, my first private live stream for my channel members. Super excited about this, guys. We're going to do the first live stream on pre-spawn bass fishing, and this is going to be a chance for all you guys to interact with me. I'm going to have comments open, so in the live stream, if you guys, as you comment throughout the live stream, I'm going to try to answer everybody's question that you have. If you're interested, guys, this is, again, it's a private live stream for channel members. So all the channel members of the Fishing Teacher here or Intuitive Angling are eligible for this, as well as my Patreon members. So if you want to join in on this live stream, guys, all you have to do is just go to the homepage here of the Fishing Teacher, click on the join button. We have memberships starting at $5.99 a month. Or the Patreon program. All you have to do is go into my video description if you guys want to join Patreon. And I'm going to be doing this every week, the weekly live stream for the private, for channel members and for Patreon members. So I'm really excited about this because this is going to be a chance for us to talk about a lot of stuff we can't talk about on the channel. And more importantly, it gives me a chance to talk to you guys one-on-one personally. So I, encourage everybody to come on the live stream and shoot me your fishing questions, and we'll answer them live on the live stream there. So hope to see you guys 6:30, February 12th this week here. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, here's what I call the Big Thumper. This is a little bit different from what a lot of spinnerbaits, a lot of guys throw. A lot of people throw big spinnerbaits in the pre-spawn, but most of them throw like a big willow leaf blade. This is a number 7 Hildebrant, Colorado, 3/4 ounce head here. I got the chartreuse and blue skirt on with the white trailer. The skirt and I always go with the white trickworm. This is a full size zoom trickworm on here, white. So that's the trailer I use all the time. And sometimes I'll use white and chartreuse or white, depending upon the water clarity. But this big long trailer, guys, this thing is a big fish catcher in the pre-spawn. And I figured this out. I was at a Bassmaster Invitational down at Lake Eufaula, Alabama, years ago. The first 2 days of the tournament, I caught over 20 pounds. I was in second place going into the last day of the tournament, and I was slow rolling this spinnerbait here with the big zoom trickworm trailer on it down, some steep rocky banks. Pretty windy those first 2 days. Caught big bags, and the last day the wind completely slicked off and died off and didn't do very good that last day. But I want to talk about the bait specifically and why it works so good. Okay, first of all, you're probably not going to find this bait stock. So what you want to do, and this is the blade you want, guys. This is the number 7 Hildebrant here. I'll put this blade, the link to the Hildebrant blade link, my Tackle Warehouse link of this in the description of this video. If you guys want to order some of these blades in my link, you need the number 7 blade gold, single spin. You need a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait head with a fairly long wire on it like this. This is a Cumberland Pro Lures head right here. And then you'll need a full-size zoom trickworm and then whatever skirt you want. So you may have to make this up yourself. You may just have to get a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait and clip it off and put the single spin on it to set it up like that. But this thing with the big Colorado on, guys, this thing just throbs your rod tip like that. It's a big thumping spinnerbait. This thing right here, if you can get them to bite it, it'll catch the biggest fish in the area by far. It'll catch a bigger fish than even a willow leaf, a big willow leaf. This is a big fish lure right here. The average bass that you catch on this thing in the pre-spawn is going to be 4 or 5 pounds. I mean, it's a big fish lure. But in order for this thing to work, like anything else, you got to throw it in the right spot and you got to throw it under the right conditions. For this thing to work, there's a window. And a lot of this stuff I talk about here on the channel, I talk about windows all the time in terms of different lure categories working. The window that you want for this bait right here is somewhat narrow in the terms that you've got to have water temperatures between like 50 I'm going to say 54 to about 58 degrees. That's the water temperature window. I'm not saying you can't catch one if it's a little cooler or a little bit warmer, but by far, mid 50s is going to be your best period for it. Ideal water temperature would be 55 degrees. That is perfect, 55 degrees. Next with it is you got to have the right water clarity. And the water clarity, you have a little bit of a window or variance there based upon your light intensity of the day. So let's cover that a little bit. The water clarity that you're going to have for this to work in correlation with the water temperature is you need water visibility of about 1.5 feet, something like that. About 15, 18 inches of visibility in the water on a partly cloudy day. Now, if you've got a bright sunny day with not much wind, this bait's not going to be that good unless the water's really dirty. If you got water visibility like 10 or 12 inches and the water temperature is 55 degrees, sunny day, you might be able to catch a few on it. But ideally, on a partly cloudy day, you're going to have about 12 to 18 inches of visibility. And if you have a cloudy day, which is real key on this bait, you can catch them up maybe into about 2 feet of visibility, about 24 inches of visibility. So you have this window of 1 to 2 feet where this thing works in. Another thing with this, like I talked about, what happened to me down at Lake Eufaula, is you got to have wind with this thing for this thing to work, and it definitely helps to have lower light conditions. Now, those lower light conditions can be a shady bank, but ideally, you want some type of overcast with wind. If you get a situation in your pre-spawn time of the year, I don't care if you're fishing Lake Gunnersville in Alabama or if you're fishing Table Rock Lake here or Grand Lake in Oklahoma or wherever, if you get 55 degrees and you got some type of a rock or grass set up, you've got water visibility of 1 to 2 feet, and you got a cloudy and you got a windy day in the pre-spawn, this bait right here is the one that you want to throw by far under those conditions. Now, like I said, that's what you need. That's the ideal window for this thing. Wind, clouds, mid-50s water temperature, 1 to 2 foot of visibility. Perfect scenario for that. Next thing with it is, before we get into where you want to fish it at, the equipment on this thing. Since this is a big honking bait, I fish it on a flipping stick. I fish it with 25-pound test Seaguar and VizX line. And the reason I use a flipping stick on this thing is this is a honking bait. And you get a 7-pound fish come up and grabs this thing like that, you got to have some power to move all the mass of plastic and blade and metal into their mouth. So that flipping stick with the 25-pound test line is perfect for it. And I've experimented with a lot of different rods, but that's the rod I throw with this one. Okay, 2 different scenarios that you want to work this bait in the pre-spawn. If you have grass, which a lot of guys don't, it's great to slow roll this thing over submergent vegetation. If you got submergent vegetation in like 4 to 8 foot of water where that grass is growing about that far off the bottom, slow rolling that thing over the top of that can catch you some big ones. But if you're like most people and you don't have that, you've got to concentrate on those rocky banks. Now, the rocky banks, it's not necessarily that you have to have like your typical pre-spawn channel bank. You can have a lot of different type of rock variations. I've caught good bags on it fishing gravelly flat banks, like at Grand Lake in Oklahoma, especially if the water's a little off-colored or on the upper end of the 50s, like 57, 58 degrees. I've caught them on bluff banks down at Table Rock Lake. I've caught them on channel swing banks like at Lake Lanier in Georgia on it. I did real good in a tournament one time at Lake Cumberland in Kentucky or Tennessee. Yeah, Lake Cumberland, Kentucky or Tennessee. But anyway, Lake Cumberland, slow rolling this big thing down little bluff walls back in the creeks with that. So you basically just want to slow roll it down rocky banks in whatever type of a rocky bank scenario that you have in the lake that you're fishing. Obviously, it helps if you have a little bit deeper water nearby, but you don't have to. Not that great around wood. It's like that time of year, it's like the fish relate just to more bare rock than anything else. But one of the reasons that you want to throw this on a cloudy, windy day with rock or grass is because it makes those fish roam more and it makes them more aggressive, and they're a lot more conducive to hitting a reaction bait that's moving horizontal through the water column. I have found out myself in the pre-spawn time of the year like that, a lot of times the fish will not set up to ambush baits like this around cover. So normally like a spinnerbait would be good throwing it next to a log or lay down tree or weed edge or something like that. But I've done better just slow rolling it down bare rocky banks. And like I said, it can be bluffs, it can be steep rock, it can be fist size rock, it can be gravel, whatever that you may have in the lake you're fishing. But guys, just give it a try, man. If you haven't tried this thing, the big old Thumper here definitely gets you a big fish. And pretty much you're gonna have about, I'm gonna guess there's gonna be about a 3-week window where this thing works when you get that scenario. And it depends on what part of the country you're in. If you're down in southern part of the country right now, you may be in that right now. You may be real close to that situation. If you're in my part of the country, this is usually something that happens like in March. So it just depends on the geographical part of the country you're in where it works out. But anyway, guys, it'll catch you some good fish. Hope you guys do well with it, and hopefully see you guys on the live stream on Thursday. Talk later.